expert. This evening, or today, or whatever time it is when you're watching, I'm talking with Ari Fertel, and she is the founder and CEO of ReadingBuddy. ReadingBuddy is a rather remarkable program, which I first learned about a couple of years ago, and I looked at, and I was quite impressed with it, and I've been recommending it to my friends. I understand that you invented ReadingBuddy because of your own personal problems with your son reading. Was that your eldest son?
Yeah, that's correct, Howard.
Okay, and he was diagnosed with ADD and dyslexia, and you managed to make that all go away.
Well, I tried to help, that's true, and we did a lot of work on reading, and I spent a lot of time researching reading and learning about dyslexia and how children learn to read, and I spent a lot of time reading with him. I really devoted myself to reading to him, so he heard language all the time, and it got to a point where reading became quite easy for him.
Mm-hmm. But I recall reading that you had said that he is no longer.
Right. So when he was in high school, so he was diagnosed very early on when he was in the end of kindergarten, beginning of first grade, and that he would have difficulty with reading and that he was dyslexic. And also dyslexia is something that runs in my family. I have siblings who were dyslexic, and so when he was in high school, I had a whole nother testing done for him, and they told me that he had no signs of dyslexia.
So he basically overcame it.
Absolutely. Our brain has an amazing ability. We know this with science, that our brains have a plasticity to them. So really anything's possible.
Now, dyslexia is a rather unusual problem, and it's not very well understood by a lot of people. Could you give a kind of a thumbnail sketch of what dyslexia is and how it affects you?
Right. So dyslexia is frequently misunderstood. It's really, some people think that dyslexia is about reading words backwards or saying words backwards, but it's really not the case. Dyslexia is really just a problem with breaking words down and understanding the sounds that each letter makes and being able to get the smallest root of the word and break those down. So with a lot of work, there's so many things out there training now, Orton Gillingham and certain methods that can help kids really develop the skills that they need to if they have reading issues. But ReadingBuddy was designed for kids who do have dyslexia and also for kids who might not have dyslexia but just need extra support, or their parents want them. I mean, all kids benefit from extra reading. We all know that. So this is just a really super fun way for kids and parents to feel good about their kids reading.
So after this diagnosis, you basically tutored your son yourself and got him over the reading problem. When did you actually start working on ReadingBuddy?
Right. So ReadingBuddy has been many, many years in the making, probably a decade. And it's really, the best way for me to summarize ReadingBuddy is I took all what we know scientifically about how children learn to read, and all that I knew as a mother about what I wanted for my children. And I really put that all in a software program. What I wanted it to be supportive. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to make sure that my child got all the skills and all the practice that they needed, but I wanted them to still feel good about it. So there's this very important motivational component, which is very unique, that our software has, that helps the child feel great about what they're doing. And on the same hand, they're really learning the skills that they need to improve their reading, which will impact their self-esteem, their grades, really everything that goes on in a young person's life.
Yeah, I got one of the earlier versions of your ReadingBuddy, and I was quite impressed with the feedback that it gave. Um, I noticed that it had a little trouble with my voice, and you said that it works better with kids than it does with adults. Is that because the pitch is higher, or what?
It could be, but as it's cutting edge technology, so we are constantly, maybe the version you have, if you had a newer update now, we are constantly fine tuning as the technology improves. We are also moving along with that. So whenever there's improvement, so as you know, if you have an iPhone with Siri, there's constant updates. They're constantly, we're doing the same thing on the same way. When there's improvements with this new technology of voice speech recognition, we're implementing that in our software. So users can constantly feel that we are also growing and getting better with it. Of course, it's not perfect, but parents aren't perfect anything, but it works. Bottom line is it works, right?
I noticed that you went to a subscription model. In your notes, you said that the average child really skips ahead about a grade level in just 3 months. So I'm guessing that a subscription model really makes a lot more sense on both ends. It lets you do maintenance easier, lets you do updates easier, and things like that.
Yes, absolutely. We found that parents felt much better about a subscription model. And if you're really using it solidly, 3 months, if you're using it 5 times a week, and which kids are motivated to do, they'll really see a difference in their reading.
Mm-hmm. So how long does the typical customer actually use the ReadingBuddy?
So we've had a wide variety of users. Some at least 3 months, and some will continue using it because their child is motivated and likes reading it. I had a parent recently call me, and I was dealing with them, and they're like, my child really doesn't need it, but they just like the stories, and it's fun, and they like the prizes, so I'm just keeping it because I know that they're going to continue reading. So it really varies, but for sure, 3 months at least, if you're seriously committed, you can really increase and improve your child's reading.
I suppose you're also adding new stories as you go along.
Right. At this point, we have over 400 stories. So we haven't really had that need yet. But as we move along, we're really fine tuning and improving our speech recognition technology as the technology improves.
Now, has it all been smooth sailing, or have you had some difficulties in this?
That's a great question. So I think the difficulty has been really, I would like to be able to reach more children and get out there, and we are doing that. We're reaching a lot of individual kids. We're reaching schools, so that's very exciting.
I hope I can help with that.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
What are your future plans for ReadingBuddy? It's not really a stagnant program. It grows and expands as you go along, right?
No, for sure. So our real goal is that every child should have ReadingBuddy software. If they've got a computer, a laptop, or a desktop computer in their home, they should have ReadingBuddy software, just as common as having, a smartphone, because we're using that same great technology, but we're using it in a way that helps children feel good about themselves and improve their reading, which is key to educational success.
Let's mention the advantages of ReadingBuddy over having a private tutor.
Sure, because I've been down that road with a private tutor. So private tutors, as we all know, they're great, but for a child to improve their reading, they really need consistent daily reading practice. And I don't know about you, but that's quite expensive to hiring a private tutor who at minimum could cost $75 to $100 an hour. And that's every day, 5 days a week. That's very expensive. And not only the expense, it's getting your kid there. It's another place after school, carpool. And And I don't know, it's sometimes, your child just like, I don't want to go. This is enough. But somehow we all know kids love technology. So they're more apt to like sit down at their own time, not somebody else's scheduled time, in the comfort of their own home or their bedroom or their living room, and turn on ReadingBuddy software and get everything that they need. It's a tutor in the computer.
And spend as long as they want.
That's right. Absolutely.
I was impressed with the immediate feedback. And of course, the computer never gets bored, and the computer never gives up. It just keeps nagging at you until you get it right.
That's true. So yeah, it really, when I read with I have a daughter now who just turned 8, but when I read with her, she'll like read it once to me and I'll say, can you read it again? Because in fluency, to help a child read, they need to do repeated readings. And she'll look at me, or when I correct her, she'll be like, don't correct me. I'm not reading anymore. But when ReadingBuddy software corrects her, she's so happy. Oh, look, no problem. She rereads and practices, and they can show her all the words that she's mispronounced or couldn't read. And she's more than happy to read them all to the software, to the ReadingBuddy. But, to a parent, to a person, it's more threatening. Yeah,
I've run into things like that. I teach violin lessons, and I've had professional violinists bring their children to me for lessons because the children didn't want to study with their parents.
Nobody, right. And you don't want to keep on making mistakes and stop nagging me, and I got that right, and I don't want to do it. But ReadingBuddy came out of a personal need as a mother. And as I learned more about the reading process, I really felt like this could be an incredible service to families. Financially, they'll save money. Emotionally, it improves your relationship with your child because they feel good about what they're doing. And most importantly, your child will really learn to read well.
Reading is a very important skill. One of the things that I noticed when I was going through it, it seemed like ReadingBuddy would be a wonderful way to learn a foreign language. Have you ever thought about that?
We have thought about that, but and we've had many people, we've had offers and people ask us about that. So maybe at some point, but at this point, I'm really focused on helping readers learn to read in English, and for sure for people who speak reading as a second language, this could also help them. We have a Spanish dictionary accessible for kids who speak Spanish, and they're really learning how to read English and speak English well. But for sure, we've had those offers.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that will be a plan down the line.
So do you have any other immediate plans for ReadingBuddy?
To get the word out.
Just get the word out.
That's right.
Well, and any other projects besides ReadingBuddy? Do you have something else going on, or is that your main thing?
It's been very exciting, and my heart is completely in it. So it is really requires everything and all my time at this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, I certainly wish you a lot of luck with that. And like I said, I hope I can help.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time. And so we'll sign off at this point. Thank you.
Thank you.